G'day guys, JB here coming at you with another divisional preview, this time the second of three divisions in the Western Conference. We're talking about the Pacific Division now. The Pacific Division has a lot of talent, a lot of stacked teams covering all of California and Arizona. So without further ado, let's get into it and let's start with the reigning Western Conference champion, Golden State Warriors. Now, Golden State having a bit of movement in the off-season. It's going to be interesting to see just how they adapt and how they work with one another. Best five that they'll put on the court for this season for me: Steph Curry, D'Angelo Russell, Draymond Green, Kevon Looney, and Willie Cauley-Stein being the five there. Everyone knows what Curry can do. Everyone knows what Russell can do. Everyone knows what Green can do. Looney and Cauley-Stein having much prominent roles as bigs is going to be interesting, particularly when you look at the fact that Golden State really has only had lane fillers. So they're going to have to step up fairly big as well. They've lost a little bit of depth. Klay Thompson obviously being last on this list with his injury and is expected to miss most of the season. Alec Burks next up in the rotation there, along with Amari Spellman, Alfonso McKinney, Glenn Robinson III, Jacob Evans, Jordan Poole, Alan Smailagic, Eric Pascal, and Pascal and Klay Thompson, as I mentioned. Now, obviously, they're probably going to run 6 or 7 deep. They're probably going to go 6-7 deep, as a genuine team. But how far that depth can spread is going to be another factor as well. Steph Curry going to have an MVP-like season, throwing it all the way back to 2014-15 and 2015-16 if they're going to be a chance. D'Angelo Russell has become an all-star player now, and I'd expect him to really fill that role that Klay Thompson had. A 25 and 20.5 rebound, 5 assist guy every night, consistent. I wouldn't be surprised whether they swap positions there as well. I would not be shocked to see D'Angelo Russell run the point and have Steph run the two to free him up a bit with less ball handling duties. Draymond Green's going to have to play elite level defense to the point of Defensive Player of the Year, I think, if they're going to be a real chance. Looney and Cauley-Stein, we all know what they're about. Looney can really play hard. I mean, he played hard through some injuries there in the NBA Finals. Cauley-Stein, a capable player. Alec Burks, again, into the rotation as well. But when you've got Spellman, Alfonso McKinney, Glenn Robinson III, Jacob Evans, Jordan Poole, Alan Smailagic, Eric Pascal, and Klay Thompson on the bench, and I mean on the injury list, so to speak, it's going to be very hard to see how they run. I think they're a playoff hope, and I think they can scrape the playoffs. If Klay returns, it will change things. In saying that, I wouldn't expect him to. I really want the Warriors to look after him, particularly with the contract he's just signed. The last thing you want is for him to come back. Now, if he returns, bang, straight up, they're a playoff contender. There's no doubt about it. Draymond moves to the 4. I think Looney goes back to the bench and Cauley-Stein will stay at the 5. You realistically have a pretty bloody good starting lineup there, a usual starting lineup there for the Golden State Warriors. However, it's going to be, it's going to take a Defensive Player of the Year effort from Draymond Green, another all-star performance from D'Angelo Russell, and Steph Curry's going to have to be near MVP form if this team is going to be any chance at the championship. They can be a playoff team regardless, but to be a championship contender, that's what's going to need to happen. Then we move over to the Clippers, the LA Clippers. Massive moves, the biggest acquisition in free agency, certainly since LeBron and Wade went to Miami all the way back in the 2010 free agency period. Best five I can see them putting on the floor for me. If they're going to see, and the thing is too, I think the best five they put on the floor is relative to how they play their bench in relation to rotations last year. Patrick Beverley, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. So I'd say they're going to play Paul George at the 2, Kawhi Leonard at the 3, JaMychal Green at the 4, and Ivica Zubac at the 5. I think Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell are obviously the first 2 rotations there. Were massive off the pine last year. Then you've got Landry Shamet, Mo Harkless, Rodney Magruder, Patrick Patterson, Jerome Robinson, Fiondu Kavengel, Terrence Mann, and Jonathan Motley. And I mean, this is a crew. Paul George is going to miss the first 6 games, so you'll most likely see Lou Williams injected into that starting lineup. They'll play a small guard role there. You'll see Kawhi stay at the 3, I'd feel. I can't see them doing too much more different there. But, I mean, this is a side that is going to be 9 deep and is going to be an absolute lock on D. Patrick Beverley, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. As far as a backcourt, probably the best backcourt in the NBA defensively for, well, probably going back until since you had Wade and LeBron on the same team there in Miami. This is an absolute lock of a team, a beast of a team. Defensively, again, as I mentioned, Patrick Beverley there. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, if they can bring anything near to what both of them brought last year, then there's no reason why the Clippers can't go all the way. To me, they're going to be my tip coming out of the West. JaMychal Green and Zubac, again, able to stretch the floor a bit, grab some rebounds, stretch the floor. Lou Williams and Harrell, again, Harrell able to get about up the glass, an absolute beast. Something that I absolutely know Houston would be kicking themselves for having let go. Lou Williams, capable player, two-time, three-time, six-man of the year, capable player. Mo Harkless and Patrick Patterson, they play with heart as well. And again, Schmidt, Magruder, Robinson, Kabengel, Mann, and Motley to round out that side. This Clippers team legitimately could win a championship. It's no stretch and no, hidden fact that Paul George and Kawhi Leonard made these moves late to really disrupt the team I'm going to talk about very shortly. And the simple fact to do that is you limited their star power, you limited their recruitment. There was a lot of stuff they limited. And again, summarising just why Jerry West might be the greatest figure in NBA history. I mean, he's the logo, as you can see there on the top. General manager, he's unrivaled. As a player, he's one of the 15 best to ever do it, in my opinion. And had a stint as coach as well, was reasonably successful there. So I would go as far to say as Jerry West probably the most successful basketball person in NBA history. So it's very interesting to see how he manages to continually put lineups together, built those great Lakers teams, built the Golden State squad, and is now building a big noise over in Staples Center for the Clippers. Again, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, they need to play games, though. You can't have Kawhi Leonard just playing 60, 65 games. This is a guy that needs to be playing, 75 games minimum this year. Paul George, another guy, okay, he's going to miss 6, so it's 82 and 6. That's 76, so he's not going to be too bad. Again, you're going to expect him to play 70 games on the season. Lou Williams and Harrell coming off big minutes off the bench. And I think that's one thing they're going to get a reprieve from as well, is capable guys to come off the bench and get something done, and that's something I think both of them are going to look forward to. There's going to be a fair bit of ball distribution and a lot of defense played. There's going to be a real stingy side, and again, once you make your opponents frustrated, they get down the other end, easy buckets, both capable scorers. I mean, we're talking about Paul George here, who was, top 3 defensive player of the year, top 3 in scoring, and top 3 in the top 3, pretty sure, scoring, MVP, defensive player of the year. Led the league in steals, had one of the all-time great seasons, one of the more underrated seasons people will look back on. And again, I just feel this Clippers team runs really deep defensively. They're capable scorers. They've got a lot on the bench as well. And for me, they're going to be my favourites coming out of the West. But they will be competing against their main opposition, the Kobe Bryant-less Lakers, who I might just point out, Kobe is over there helping out the Clipper guys and not the Laker guys. Read into that as you wish. The Los Angeles Lakers, they've assembled a pretty deep roster, a pretty good rotational roster. And in fact, if you took this roster back 5-6 years, put them all on the one squad, you'd lock in multiple championships, such as its depth. Bit of age now and a few tendencies amongst players will really stretch it and really make it interesting. But nonetheless, I really think they're going to be competitive. I think their best 5 they can put on the floor will be Rondo, Kuzma, LeBron, Anthony Davis, and JaVale McGee. And again, we all know JaVale McGee at one point there was running at DPOY form earlier in the season. Anthony Davis, we know what kind of player he is. 27-18 when he really last got on the floor. Same thing as Paul George. Top 3 in MVP, top 3 in scoring, top 3 in Defensive Player of the Year. Capable player, led the league in blocks. And when he is in form, he's probably the best player on the planet. It's a matter of getting him in form. LeBron James, need I say, his track record, 4 MVPs, 3 finals MVPs. 3 championships. The big knock there, obviously, is his play style. And it's going to be interesting to see because I reckon they're going to run LeBron at the point, which would underutilise someone like a Rajon Rondo. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they build that lineup. I would suggest that he probably runs point forward again. I can't see them wanting to blackball Rondo, particularly now that DeMarcus Cousins has gone down. And again, we'll get to him soon as well. Kyle Kuzma, pretty much the only one to survive the absolute offload of picks and deals for Anthony Davis. So, he's obviously on LeBron's side. And once you get on LeBron's side in the NBA, it's very hard for you to really get off it. So, if he's going to be in that position, he's going to be getting some buckets there. LeBron's going to be looking for him. And Rajon Rondo, capable facilitator, capable defender. A little bit older now, don't necessarily trust your jump shot, never had, but again, capable player nonetheless. All-star for a reason, former All-NBA point guard for a reason, former All-Defensive player for a reason. So, I mean, this is one of the better lineups they could possibly have put out there, and I mean, they're going to run, potentially 8 to 10 deep. Dwight Howard on this squad as well is going to be interesting, and he's essentially a backup centre. If he's able to get fit and really push his case, he might even get into the starting lineup. And if you'd have said Rajon Rondo, LeBron James, and Dwight Howard were going to be on the same team 10 years ago, you probably would have locked in a championship. So it does speak volumes to how good these players can be. Caldwell Pope, another one who's survived the culling and has managed to push through the last couple of years with the Lakers. Capable player. Danny Green, we know what he can, he brings a 3-and-D proponent there, one of the most efficient shooter from deep in NBA Finals history. Avery Bradley, capable player. Alex Caruso, capable player. A lot of talk about him. He waited a long time over the off-season to really get a contract and try and really get back into this Lakers side. LeBron rates him highly. That's why he's here. So it's going to be interesting to see. Quentin Cook, Troy Daniels, Jared Dudley, and Taylor Horton Tucker rounding out a lineup. DeMarcus Cousins out for the season with injury. But I think the big thing that's got to be asked, as it does with all of LeBron's squads, is can everyone adjust to LeBron running the offense while allowing their numbers to diminish? He has come out and stated that he wants Anthony Davis to be the focal point of the offense. There have been many times where LeBron probably should have let the offense get up and really, help his teammates out. So there's going to be a lot of hype and a lot of speculation there. If LeBron can let Anthony Davis do his thing, and allow his teammates to do their thing, then there's no reason why they can't win it either. In fact, if they start really clicking, it's going to be a hell of a lot of work for the Clippers to defeat. And by all rights, with his track record, albeit losing, once you hit the big stage, LeBron can push through the conference and really get some work done. So he's going to have a bit of vengeance as well. Only played 55 games last year. So the big motivation, again, is how does this team work around LeBron and how does LeBron work with his teammates? I think they're a playoff lock. If they don't make the playoffs, it'd be pretty much, to me, one of the biggest busts in league history for a side like this not to make it. I mean, multiple former All-Stars, current All-Stars, capable players, etc. You name it, they've got it. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Lakers work. For me, they're a playoff lock. They're one of the 4 best teams easily in the West. So they've got to perform. They've got to get it done. And they've got a massive matchup in the opposition building against the Clippers. I really stress to anyone that wants to go to a Clippers-Lakers game this year, start saving your money if you don't already have it, because them tickets are going to be crazy expensive no matter where you sit. I wouldn't be trying to get courtside, wouldn't be getting next to Jack Nicholson. I'd be wanting to sit, right up in the bleachers there, taking in any of the leftover cigar smoke that could potentially be floating around. I doubt it, but you get what I mean. Again, a really good Lakers lineup here. They really are able to run deep. Defense could be a question occasionally, but plenty of defensive guys there. A lot of 3-and-D guys there as well, allowing LeBron to penetrate and kick out. But the last thing you want is for a Dwight Howard, a JaVale McGee, and an Anthony Davis to turn into spot-up shooters. When you start spotting that happening, run for the hills, Lakers fans. It isn't going to end well. But again, the Golden State Warriors, the LA Clippers, and the LA Lakers for me will be playoff locks. The next team to bring up here is the Sacramento Kings. The Kings had a very good season last year, finished 9 games out of conference seeding, but nonetheless, I do feel they can make a push again this year, certainly break that 500 record. Well, should be able to break that 500 record. They've got plenty in the tank, plenty of young stars, so it's going to be interesting to see how they go. The best 5 I think Sacramento can put out there are De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, Marvin Bagley III, and Dwayne Dedman. I think that'll be their best 5. Coming off the bench there, Bogdanovic, Trevor Ariza, Nemanja Bjelica, Rashawn Holmes, and then you've got Harry Giles, Corey Joseph, Yogi Ferrell, Caleb Swanigan, Tyler Linden, and Justin James. And essentially, when you look there, you've got young, up-and-coming, exciting De'Aaron Fox, can play to that all-star level, and to me should have been an all-star last year. Harrison Barnes can play to an all-star level. Buddy Hield needs to take that next step, but he's a young, exciting guard. Marvin Bagley, young and exciting big. Dwayne Dedman, a capable big. Bogdanovic had a massive FIBA World Cup. Trevor Ariza's been a reliable 3-and-D and journeyman over the years, and coming off the bench is going to suit him. They needed just that extra. Probably need one more senior head around the group. He's a good one to have there as well. Nemanja Bjelica, Bejalica, I believe it is. Apologies there on the name. And Rashawn Holmes have played big minutes for them as well last year. They're going to have to do the same thing. Potentially 9 deep, good role players. So playoffs has to be the question mark, and I think that's something they're certainly going to be striving for in Sacramento. They've been missing that for a few years now. Had DeMarcus Cousins, then he left. We're playing with the likes of an Isaiah Thomas gone, Rajon Rondo gone. And this was a team that's really sort of been searching these last 10 years to try and find a young core group that can get there. And this is a group that Vlade Divac has really been trying to really push and get involved. And he's really done a lot in Sacramento here. It's a nice young list, just needs probably a couple of more senior heads. But again, De'Aaron Fox, capable shooter, capable player. Buddy Hield's very offensively minded. Harrison Barnes can be the hit-miss and he could be the turning point there. But again, young players, a couple of senior heads, if they're able to build off this and get to the playoffs, the world is genuinely their oyster. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Sacramento go. They're 50-50 on the playoffs. If they make it, I'm not shocked. If they missed, I'm not shocked. It's just the depth of the conference that's really hurting them. The last 2 years, I would have probably penciled this squad into an 8th seed in the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Again, young and exciting, and probably the most exciting side as far as young talent developing game that I'd want to see. Sacramento's a side that I would want to watch and will watch, no doubt about it. So for anyone out there that is a Kings fan, stay positive, stay upbeat. Results will be heading that way soon. How far, I don't know. But the results will definitely get there. So stick by them. Watch them, tune in. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Plenty of highlights coming out of Sacramento this season. And finally, going to turn to the Phoenix Suns, who aren't looking the best, let's be honest. Best 5 there: Ricky Rubio, Devin Booker, Kelly Oubre, Dario Saric, and DeAndre Ayton. So not too bad. A couple of young players, some exciting stuff there. Then off the bench, Tyler Johnson, Frank Kaminsky, Mikal Bridges, Sheik Diallo, Aaron Baines, Eli Okobo, Javon Carter, Ty Jerome, and Cameron Johnson. And essentially it's make or break. Devin Booker needs to take off, has to lift or take off in the off-season. So essentially Devin Booker is going to need to be a guy who's pushing the scoring title there, but he needs to be able to lock down fairly more on defense. There's a lot of critics coming at Devin Booker this year, not being double-teamed in your summer league, in your practice there, in your Drew league, in your gym. Unacceptable for a guy who, potential all-star, plays like an all-star, had a week of 50 points last year, has 70 points in a game, a capable young player. I mean, the guy's younger than me, so that should tell you something right there. He's capable of playing the game. There's no doubt about it. What he needs to do is harness his abilities, harness his teammates, and get the job done. Ayton, a good young big. Ricky Rubio, a seasoned vet now, capable point guard. Kelly Oubre, capable 3. Saric, a capable 4 as well. Tyler Johnston, Kaminsky off the bench, pretty good inclusions. Some of the key stakeholders there from Miami and Charlotte last year. And again, I don't think Phoenix is going to make the playoffs, but they need to really push to the point where, because 42-43 wins here could potentially see them miss the playoffs in the West. So they need to start cracking 500 and really make a point here. And to me, if they don't do that, I'd be getting rid of Devin Booker as soon as I can and totally blow this roster up. Go from scratch and just try and build something fresh, because without doing that, they're not going to get any results. So to me, Devin Booker is definitely make or break this season. So is Phoenix. And I really don't see them making the playoffs. They need to crack 500. 500 to be a pass mark for them this season. I don't see them making it. But Devin Booker, if he wants to take that next step, he's got some pieces around him now. He needs to do it. Anyway, guys, that's been my Pacific Division breakdown. As I said, my 3 playoff teams out of this division are Golden State, the Clippers, and the Lakers. Sacramento to potentially make it. If they miss, I'm not shocked. And I don't see Phoenix doing anything. If they don't do anything significant, albeit missing, then they need to get rid of Devin Booker, blow the roster up, and start again. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Hit me up, JB's NBA on Facebook, Justin_G_Bryan on Twitter, Justin Bryan on YouTube, and the final division review and preview for the 2019-2020 season. The Southwest division is on its way very soon. Thanks, guys. I'm out.